This is the total market cap of all of crypto. You want to see the trigger that launches altcoin season? Do you want to see what it looks like? It's very simple. I'm going to show you right now. It's this headline. SEC approves all spot Ethereum ETFs. We're going to look at the charts. We're going to discuss this news. And I want to just cover Ethereum charts as a really nice indicator for altcoin markets this cycle. This narrative that we see on the screen is going to be a big one for this altcoin season. And this news, right now, this news plays so nicely into all of the technical analysis that I've been doing for over 6 years now on this crypto channel, covering crypto cycles around the Bitcoin halving. And as we get ready for altcoin season, at least what I think will be altcoin season, this news, I think, is just going to kick things off. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's jump into the video. I'm going to dive into the charts. The total market cap of all of crypto is a really, really nice roadmap for the charts. Ethereum, I'm going to show you a couple areas on the Ethereum chart to give a hint of where we are this cycle around. And I do want to look at a couple altcoins, ADA, as well as AVAX, very much on my radar as we prepare for altcoin season. That's the headline. And I want to go through a couple of things. This is Paul Graywall, the chief legal officer at Coinbase. He posted this week, this day has been a roller coaster, unlike any other I've seen. ETH is effectively deemed a commodity as we've always known it to be. This is phenomenal for Ethereum. When the Bitcoin spot ETF got approved, that was phenomenal for Bitcoin. But guess what? It was phenomenal for all of crypto. This Ethereum ETF is phenomenal for all of crypto, if not more phenomenal than the Bitcoin spot ETF. Because if Ethereum is a commodity, then I assure you, something like Cardano, also a commodity. And so this is giving us a whole nother, just broader, I would say, definition or guidance on the space through just this approval. So speaking of what happened today and the week, FIT21 passed by Congress, Ethereum ETF approved by SEC, CBDC banned. I don't know if you saw that news today, and I did a similar post earlier today. So far, I mean, if you just think off the top of your mind, really quick, BTC spot ETF, House passed a new framework for crypto with the FIT21, U.S. House passed bill banning CBDC, Trump building pro-crypto army, ETH spot ETF in the lineup, now approved, 24 U.S. governors state they will not comply with WHO takeover. You might be like, what? What are you talking about? That has nothing to do with crypto. I brought that up because, and there are many actually other headlines. I'm telling you, and I've been saying this, the pendulum is swinging. It's right now in the right direction. And this is what I see happening. And all of these things, even outside of crypto, when we see this happening at this stage of the cycle, and this is the yellow line right there, that Bitcoin halving, when we see these very positive things happening for not only crypto, but for freedom, this is good. This is very good for the bull cycle that many of us are thinking is getting ready to happen and kind of go crazy. So let's dive into the charts. This is cue the next alt narrative right on time. This is Tech Dev over here on X. Just a really, really nice chart. I think it's like a 2-month chart. I think he might have some different settings on his RSI or his MACD and the stock RSI. I'm not sure what his settings are, but what a nice chart, everybody. Look at this chart. So he's kind of looking back last cycle around this time, taking different data points, but very similar to what we do on this channel, going back to previous cycles and just studying the data, studying how these cycles move. And I want to look at the total market cap from just a different perspective, but really the same. And that is to say, if we're zoomed out, this what I have open is a monthly chart. Let's just note the 20-month moving average, which bottomed out back here and is pivoting back above the 50-month moving average most recently, right around Bitcoin halving. But what I wanted to point out, because he had some really nice oscillators on that screen, I wanted to point out a couple oscillators on my screen, on the monthly. So we have Bitcoin halving, and then we're going to look at Ethereum, ADA, and AVAX charts. But we have Bitcoin halving, this yellow line. Here's Bitcoin halving last cycle, and here's Bitcoin halving the cycle before in 2016. What I want you to notice is the momentum oscillator, the RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator. Just look at it. It's first off not even in overbought with everything we have going on. It touched overbought prior to the Bitcoin halving, consolidated, and right now we're seeing a little bounce to the upside in terms of total crypto market cap. Now, if we go and we look at last cycle right here, post Bitcoin halving, right before things took off, what was happening on that RSI? Just a similar type of thing, a consolidation, a dip, we could call it. And then there's the parabolic bull. And then the cycle before that, if we go all the way back to the 2016 into 2017 move, where we've taken a lot of data and there are a lot of similarities on multiple different charts, this cycle to that cycle. Check out the RSI then on the monthly. Really, it touches overbought prior to the halving, sound familiar, and then consolidates to almost this exact similar level where total crypto market cap has consolidated most recently, and then it takes off. So right around here is where we are. And we have a spot Bitcoin ETF. We have Congress coming around. We have the anti-crypto army beginning to lose. And we have an Ethereum spot ETF approved today, an altcoin ETF at this part of the cycle. There's so many different data points that go along with this. I'm just trying to, on the macro, give very simple ones. And if we go to the MACD, just the upward momentum, what I really like to see on this MACD is the very fact that you can see the histogram cool down for a moment right around Bitcoin halving. Right here, you see that lighter green shade, cool down for a moment, and we're just picking steam right back up. And so the momentum to the upside is there for crypto right now. And if we go to the Bitcoin dominance chart, and then we're going to pivot to the Ethereum charts and altcoin charts, check out dominance on Bitcoin as we are post-Bitcoin having that white line, Bitcoin dominance on the weekly. I don't know. We're going to continue watching this. I'm very much watching the 20-week moving average and the 50-week moving average. 52% to around 53.75%, almost 54%, 52 to 54%. If Bitcoin falls below that area, we might see altcoin season getting kicked off. I don't know if it's going to happen in the shorter term, but I am very much watching. We know what altcoin season looks like on this chart. Every cycle, post-Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin dominance falling, Bitcoin dominance falling. And so when will Bitcoin dominance fall this cycle around? Ethereum charts. A couple things I want to discuss in terms of altcoin season. This is really getting into it. When altcoin season? I'll try and put that into the stamp. Like, are we there? Is it kicking off? So when I'm looking at Ethereum, there's a couple things I just want to mention. We just talked about the total crypto market cap. We did a lot of comparison to the halving of 2020, even all the way back here, the halving of 2016, and then altcoin season kicking off. And we're saying, okay, is altcoin season getting ready to kick off? A couple of points on this chart that I'm looking at. This move right here into November 2020, into December, that move right there looks very similar to the consolidation that we've had most recently, right? Just when you're zoomed out on this chart. That's point number one for me. But then I think a more important point is this number 2 spot, right? January 2021, Ethereum kind of exploding there. What I want to show you is this, and this was a really big signal for altcoin season last cycle. The swing low or swing high to swing low of the last cycle prior, right? I'm talking about 2018 swing low. This lower high Fibonacci area being broken by Ethereum, this was kind of a power move for Ethereum. You can see happening on the chart. But from that area, when Ethereum made that move, I just want to stretch this out to the all-time high, 300, little over 300 days. So that Fibonacci, that green rectangle being broken to all-time high for Ethereum, 300 plus days. And then if we actually take this to closer to the halving, maybe more of a similar timeline perspective on these charts right here, kind of a little comparison of what's happening on Ethereum, the consolidation. We're looking at around a year from that point number 1 to all-time high. So 300 to 365 days from this range, we had bull market territory. And if we look at Ethereum right now, swing high of the bull market, the recent bull market to the bear market low, you can see Ethereum has not even broken that Fibonacci yet. We've not even broken above. So we're at a really interesting area, I think, and there's no exact way to do this, right? This is all just how I perceive these charts and how I'm looking at these charts. But I'm telling you, from a sentiment perspective, in my mind, I'm getting just so many similar vibes of previous bull cycles. And right now, if we look at the chart is even saying, put aside the sentiment and what it seems like, this range really does kind of seem like where we are. And not only that, we're there a little bit earlier this cycle around. We are absolutely there a little bit earlier this cycle around. So altcoin season could very much kick off in the short term. And so that's what I'm watching for right now. And if we take that data, so by the way, on Ethereum, the move on Ethereum, we have this big headline news event. I'm very curious to see what Ethereum does. I like to sit back. I think that I should have mentioned this in the beginning of the video. The news is huge news for the macro. I think it's huge news for this bull cycle that we're in. And I think it's more meaningful when we zoom out on the charts. So on the short term, who knows? There could be a lot of volatility. I mean, Ethereum, at the very least, it could dip all the way back down to these moving averages. That could be an area that I'd be watching for, and just a surprising dip for crypto after this bullish news. You never know. But 50-day moving average, 20-day moving average getting ready to cross back above. So bullish. If Ethereum wants to pull into that area before going higher, fine, right? But right now, I'm very curious to see, can Ethereum break the $4,000 area, right? That is right around the 786 of the Fibonacci. And that's a really key indicator when we start looking at things like ADA, because check this out. What did we say? Last cycle, Ethereum was breaking that Fibonacci in January 2021. And what did ADA do at that moment? It took off. What did AVAX do in January of 2021? Right back here. It took off, right? So these altcoins are truly going to probably follow Ethereum in a very similar way. And I think they will outperform Ethereum on the macro charts. Now, if we look at ADA, I want to look at ADA and AVAX actually zoomed in on the charts because I think there's some really important things happening on both of these. And on the short term, we can watch these areas to see, get a sense of, are we about to get a shorter term leg up? So ADA, and really they have to do with the very similar moving averages. And that is to say, the 20-day moving average, the 50-day moving average, crucial for ADA right now. You can see ADA kind of struggling at the 50 and seeing support at the 20. So right now, my question on this daily chart is, can ADA see continued support above the 20? We have a candle close in like an hour and a half. What will tomorrow's candle do for ADA? And not only that, can ADA manage to get back above the 50 and really start making its breakout to the upside to shift all of these moving averages around? What we want to see in terms of those moving averages, AVAX has kind of going for it. And this chart on AVAX is kind of a really good picture of why I think, and I did a video talking about AVAX the other day. I think it's, for me, AVAX is a really nice play because it's showing a lot of strength, not only on the charts, but also in terms of narrative. ADA has its own narrative, I think, in terms of the ETFs, for being as decentralized as it is, for being built in the way that it's built. AVAX has also its own narrative. That is to say, its own president of Ava Labs is out there fighting for the AVAX ETF. Not fighting for it, but talking about it. And he's creating a certain narrative. So I think AVAX is extremely well positioned to be a top performer in terms of blue chip altcoins. And that's something that I'm highly interested for this bull cycle. And so I've taken my time to kind of get a grasp of where do I want to allocate, right? ADA, obviously a huge piece of my story. Meme coins is a big piece of my story. I don't talk about it really much at all on this YouTube channel, but it is. And now AVAX, I think, is a really big piece of the story. But back to the moving averages, we have a 50-day, the 200, the 20. It's just such a nice chart, everybody, when you look at this. This is exactly what we want to see, this compression of these moving averages together as the 20 is getting ready to just shift above them. So if AVAX sees support here, this retracement back to that area, the confluent area of around $37 to $35, it's just such a nice technical move. If AVAX gets support here and crypto continues to go higher, I think AVAX can have an explosive move, especially if Ethereum is going to break that Fibonacci that we just looked at. I think AVAX can have an explosive move. And what's interesting about it, just kind of bringing into play my years doing these YouTube videos, when I go look at ADA, and by the way, in terms of ADA, I think ADA is going to make its move. It does this. It really makes ADA holders wait. I think it's going to make a power move out of nowhere. And so it's just the charts look different. But what is interesting when we're talking about AVAX as it relates to ADA, if you go back to last cycle, if I zoom out on the daily, the compression of the moving averages for ADA back here, right before ADA took off, You can see all of that compression right there, the 20, the 50, the 200. It's giving me very similar vibes on this AVAX chart, right? And I mean, we can even say if we look at ADA right now in the daily, I mean, there's compression. It just looks a little bit different, right? And so these two altcoins, I think, are primed to move and primed to explode. I think they're going to do it in different ways. And this is exactly what I talked about in I think my last video comparing ADA to AVAX. Last cycle, they moved completely differently if you look at the zoomed out last cycle. So going to be really interesting. But all in all, everybody, whether it's AVAX, whether it's ADA, whether it's Solana, no matter what it is, this Ethereum news it's just such fantastic news if you're an altcoin holder and if you're just in crypto in general, because we're getting wins. That is what's happening right now. And I'm telling you, the anti-crypto army, they are losing. Altcoin charts looking good. Go to the total crypto market cap chart, looking so good, everybody. So time will tell. Again, this is all speculative. I always say I just don't know. I don't know if it will repeat. I don't know if we're going to enter a parabolic bull. But I'm just saying, I think we are. And really, that's what this data is presenting, why I think we are. So I'm trying to prepare the best that I can. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, everybody. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.